what's up, Taiwan? I'm Ethan Liu with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. At least 15,000 people are known to have died following a massive earthquake that rocked Turkey and Syria on Monday. Rescuers from around the world have rushed to the two countries to help find survivors. Eric Gao reports.
This family was rescued from rubble in Adıyaman province in Turkey late on Wednesday. They were saved days after a massive 7.8 magnitude earthquake struck the country 2 days before. But they may be some of the lucky ones. The critical 72-hour period for finding survivors after a disaster is ending. Turkey has confirmed that 5,000 buildings collapsed in the quake, but reports say the real figure could be more than double that. It's feared that thousands of people could still be trapped. To help with rescue efforts, teams from dozens of countries around the world have arrived in Turkey. This includes search and rescue specialists from Taiwan. 130 Taiwanese rescued personnel and several rescue dogs flew to Turkey on Monday and Tuesday. The team set up a command center after reaching the affected area. They've already helped save at least one person. Aside from sending specialists, Taiwan's government has donated $2 million to Turkey. It also set up special bank accounts to collect contributions from the public. These have accumulated over $300,000 in donations as of Wednesday evening. Turkey's representative to Taiwan expressed his gratitude for the support.
This lunchtime, we have received just over 2,800 messages and the phone calls. I am surprised and really grateful for the Taiwanese people for their goodwill and the kindness.
The Turkish office has teamed up with the local Tzu Chi Buddhist charity to collect donations of supplies. They're taking winter clothing and survival goods for victims of the quakes, anything that could help ease the suffering of the Turkish people. Rick Yi and Eric Gao for TaiwanPlus.
The destruction in Turkey has also raised concerns here in earthquake-prone Taiwan, as over 100,000 buildings in the capital city of Taipei are considered unsound structurally. Many are now asking whether the process of renovating old buildings is too complex. Sully Jensen has more details.
There are almost 230,000 buildings in Taipei City, and around 90% of these are over 30 years old. That percentage is increasing. The city's government says that 98,000 of these older buildings are unstable.
If a large earthquake were to strike Taipei, Taiwan's Interior Ministry says about 4,000 buildings could collapse. This could affect a large portion of the city's population. The prospect has many locals worried.
住了40多年了，地板有一点裂了，对不对？如果在大地震的话，一定会垮掉了，当然是会怕。
Taiwan is no stranger to destructive earthquakes, and the country's buildings have taken a beating in the past. 50,000 toppled in the Gigi earthquake of 1999. That quake killed 2,400 people. Reconstruction of Taipei's buildings has been slow. One reason is that this kind of work needs the approval of all the owners of property in a building. That's kept many buildings from getting the necessary repairs.
当然，我家的更多、更老哈。我家已经60年了，可是我们那里已经说了3、4次，只有2位，40几户只有2户不要就不行了。
The Building Administration Office says it's trying to speed up the process of renovating structurally unsound buildings.
老旧建筑大概普遍耐震能力都不足了。那对于这个30年以上这种老旧房屋，其实我们是鼓励市民先行做一个耐震能力的评估。
Some advocates say these assessments should be mandatory for old buildings.
台湾其实不光台北市应该要来做一个强制性的全面的建筑的普查，不是所有的方案都是要透过重建解决，是有些方式只是透过你的整建维护或是结构补强的方式。
Authorities say construction has been slowed by labor shortages and the changing cost of raw materials. Taipei's new mayor Jiang Wan'an promised during his campaign to lower the bar for approving renovations.
But with strong earthquakes likely at any moment, many people's lives and homes are at risk until reconstruction work can get off the ground. Damon Lin and Sally Jensen for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwanese CarShare app iRent has been slapped with a fine of nearly $7,000. This follows news last week of the company's data leak of more than 400,000 users. Taiwan's Public Roads Authority gave iRent the highest possible fine for violating the Personal Data Protection Act. The authority says another fine will be issued if the company doesn't fix the issues before the end of February. News outlet TechCrunch last week alerted Taiwan's digital ministry that iRent's cloud service had no password protection over its clients' personal information. Taiwan's top pandemic response task force is preparing to ease the country's indoor mask mandate.
疫情可控，那我们也要逐渐迈向这个正常的生活。在这样的政策方向之下，那我们就宣布这个第二阶段的口罩的这个松绑措施。那如果疫情稳定的情况之下，我们从2月20号，那会实施这个口罩这个通案性的规定。
At that time, masks will only be required on public transport and in hospitals. Masks are still recommended at crowded venues, but not mandatory. People with respiratory conditions and senior citizens are also encouraged to keep their masks on. Regulations for schools will be discussed when the winter break ends in early March. Germany's trade office in Taiwan says business between the two countries hit record highs in 2022 and that firms are happy with how business has been going. But with a number of geopolitical challenges on the horizon, some are slightly more wary about the future. Stush Butler has more details.
The German trade office in Taipei has just released its survey of the more than 250 German companies operating in Taiwan, and the result? Business is booming. Trade between Germany and Taiwan reached $23 billion last year, a record high. And among German firms operating in Taipei, over 70% said they were satisfied with their business performances. That's another record.
And of course, it was a strong focus of the Taiwanese economy on semiconductor machinery, exactly the industries where our German industry is very strong, delivers components and materials to the Taiwanese industries.
But slower growth and geopolitical tensions make the future more uncertain. 2022 was a particularly volatile year for Taiwan's relations with its neighbor, China, which claims Taiwan as part of its territory. After US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi made a historic visit to Taipei in August, Beijing launched live-fire military exercises on all sides of Taiwan's main island. The German Trade Office says that disrupted the supply chains of almost a quarter of German firms, and more than half now say that tensions between China and Taiwan are a significant business challenge. But there's one even bigger factor weighing on bosses' minds: the trade dispute between China and the United States. The White House sees Beijing as an economic rival. US authorities have moved to cut off China's access to things like advanced semiconductors. In response, China's considering its own export bans. German firms worry about getting caught in the middle of that standoff.
So I think if we look at it from the German perspective, you have China as the biggest trade partner, and you also have the US as the biggest source of its current account surplus. So basically, it's pretty much a destiny that German firms are actually worried that they would be caught in a crossfire between the US and China dispute.
But despite talk of the US and China decoupling and worries about the effect that might have on global trade, business between the two economies is actually growing. New figures show that trade between the US and China grew to a record high of $691 billion last year. And businesses in Taiwan say they have reason to be optimistic.
I think if we see the structure of the Taiwanese industry is heavily focused on really the future-oriented businesses, and semiconductor is only one example. Machinery, Taiwan is very strong, and of course we see also the energy transition picks up speed here in Taiwan. So this is also again a perfect match to the German knowledge and know-how, and we can build up great partnerships.
Few people expect growth to match the giddy heights of 2021 when Taiwan's economy grew by more than 6%. But of the 250-odd German companies surveyed, more than 9 in 10 said they made the right choice to set up shop in Taiwan, even with all the diplomatic tussles of 2022. Stash Butler and Howard Dang in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally, we leave you with images of Taekwondo athletes in Gaza. I'm Ethan Lo, take care, and I'll see you next time.